Hello and welcome everybody. We're going to give everyone just another minute or two to join. We've already got a number of people who've joined, but we've got people joining from many different time zones, so we'll get started in just a minute. Thank you so much for being here. We have an exciting event planned for you today. Hello and welcome. My name is Caitlin Hughes. I'm the Executive Director of Solar Cookers International, and this is our United Nations High-Level Political Forum event. We are excited to share a lot of information from SCI staff as well as some esteemed guest speakers with you today. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be sharing about solar cooking, a cross-cutting solution for reinforcing the 2030 agenda and eradicating poverty in times of multiple crises. Next slide, please. So a few housekeeping details. First of all, welcome. We have people joining from all around the world, so thank you for making time out of your busy days or evenings. We will be recording this event as well to make it accessible to people who are not able to join today, or if you want to go back and watch it or share it with other people who you think may be interested. We'll be sending it out via email, as well as sharing it on our website and through our social media platforms afterwards as well. We do invite you to put any questions that you have into the specific question and answer tab. So in Zoom, there is a function for Q&A. You can see it has a little icon with chat boxes. So please feel free to put your question in there, and we will try to respond to it in writing throughout the presentation or afterwards as time allows. We work to make our information accessible in many formats. So for English captions, please look at the bottom of your Zoom screen for an option that says show captions. With that, you can turn captions on, off, or adjust the settings. Alternatively, you can select more and then captions for the same functions. Please note that captions are automatically generated and may not be a perfect transcription. Also, Zoom webinars will at this time only provide English captions. However, the presentation will be uploaded to YouTube where more language options are available. So again, we know that these aren't perfect translations, but we do hope that they are helpful for people to be able to understand what is being said in multiple ways. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we have a very exciting slate of speakers for you today. We are honored and privileged to be able to bring you speakers literally from all around the world. We have a very talented and experienced Solar Cookers International staff, which you'll get to hear from many representatives today, as well as representatives from the government and civil society from countries including Togo, Liberia, and India. Next slide, please. We have a mix of people in our audience, some people who are very experienced solar cooks and experts in their own right, and we have some people who are probably learning about solar cooking for their first time through this presentation. So we'd like to provide a little bit of background information so that everybody's on the same page. Solar Cookers International expertise is in solar thermal cooking. There's hundreds of different types of solar cookers, but they all use the same principles. Solar cookers are devices that collect and absorb direct sunlight and retain heat to cook food or pasteurize water. There are complementary technologies, including retained heat baskets and water pasteurization indicators. And as I mentioned, there are hundreds of different types of solar cookers, but they fall into some main categories that help us understand some different characteristics. These can include the reflective panel, A specific example of which is the Cookit, which is pictured here. There's a box oven solar cookers that look like a box, and parabolic reflector solar cookers that are very helpful for cooking with those high temperatures and quick cooking times. Next slide, please. There are also Fresnel lens solar cookers, evacuated tube solar cookers, Fresnel mirror solar cookers, and next slide, please. Institutional solar cooking, which can involve, for example, rooftop steam systems that can cook for thousands of people at a time. Solar Cookers International works to promote solar cooking technology in general and encouraging people and communities to figure out the best solar cooker that works for them and their needs, since there are so many different varieties. We do also offer performance evaluation process testing of solar cookers, which provides an additional level of information for people to learn more about different types of solar cookers. Next slide, please. Solar cooking has so many benefits, and that's why myself, as well as many people that I know, love solar cooking, is it benefits so many different aspects, everything from women's empowerment to addressing poverty to protecting our environment. Solar cooking is the cleanest cooking because there's no fuel cost. The sunlight is delivered to our doorsteps every single day. There's no air pollution. There's no greenhouse gas emissions. There's no smoke. Reduces deforestation as people don't have to cut down trees in order to cook. There's no time or danger from collecting biomass fuel. It can make nutritious meals. It can be used for drying food, as well as pasteurizing water. So many applications. Next slide, please. Solar cooking is especially important in these times of climate change because it's helpful for both mitigation and adaptation. It's cost effective. Sunlight doesn't cost anything, which is beautiful. There's no heavy infrastructure required. It is definitely the people's solution as it can be implemented quickly. The Cookit that I mentioned, there's open source plans available on our website, and it can be made from recycled materials. Next slide, please. So who is Solar Cookers International? We are a nonprofit that's been leading the solar cooking sector since 1987. We are very fortunate to work with hundreds of collaborators in over 135 countries. And we are working to improve human health, economic well-being, women's empowerment, and the environment by promoting climate-friendly solar cooking solutions, especially for vulnerable populations worldwide. Next slide, please. We are working to address the challenge that's affecting about 2 billion people worldwide. And we're doing this through 3 main ways as outlined in our strategic plan, which is also available on our website. You'll get to hear more about these through our webinar today, as well as information on our website. But we're working to address this global challenge that ultimately does impact all of us through advocacy, research, and building capacity. And you and SCI are core to this solution. Next slide, please. And next, I would like to introduce Sarah Rosen, SCI's Program and Operations Manager, who's going to share more about our work. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. Yes, I am the Program and Operations Manager with SCI, and I want to talk to you today about voluntary national reviews. So here we are at the UN High-Level Political Forum, HLPF, where 36 countries are presenting their voluntary national reviews, or VNRs, this year. So for those that are a little less familiar with what these are, I just want to take a step back to explain that VNRs are essentially progress reports and are a critical part of achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, and the 2030 Agenda. So VNRs are voluntary and they are country-led, which ensures that each review reflects national contexts and priorities. They serve as a platform for countries to showcase their successes, identify gaps, and outline plans for accelerating progress. By promoting transparency and accountability, VNRs encourage peer learning and the sharing of best practices between nations. So through VNRs, countries engage with a wide range of stakeholders, including government agencies, civil society, private sector, and academia, which fosters a collaborative approach and aligns national efforts with global commitments. So every year, SCI reviews all of the presenting VNRs. And our goal really is to identify existing solar cooking and clean cooking initiatives, as well as looking for language that indicates an openness to potential solar cooking projects. So this language can take various forms. Of course, we look for a specific mention of current projects, but we also look for just the simple acknowledgement of problems caused by cooking with polluting fuel. Or even in some cases, just a focus on relevant themes, some of which Caitlin spoke on earlier, like deforestation, health, and women's empowerment. So SCI takes this broad approach because solar cooking really supports all 17 of the SDGs and serves as a versatile cross-cutting solution. For instance, one nation may prioritize forest preservation while another focuses on reducing respiratory disease, and both can benefit from solar cooking. The inclusion of supportive language in VNRs really fosters an enabling environment for scaling up cooking initiatives, paving the way for partnerships, innovation, policy changes, and funding opportunities. So as of yesterday, of the 36 countries presenting, 31 had their full reports available. And of these, 15 specifically mention the cooking sector as an area of concern. And just simply mentioning cooking in their VNRs helps elevate the cooking sector and draw attention to a sector which has often been underrepresented at high-level events in the past. Some countries go further and highlight specific ongoing efforts ranging from subsidy programs to awareness campaigns to research initiatives. And while not all countries reference the cooking sector explicitly, they all discuss issues that can be addressed by cleaner cooking methods. So here we have some common themes, and we can see that 21 countries are deeply concerned with deforestation or the use of wood for fuel. 26 prioritize lowering emissions. All of the VNRs address health concerns, with 17 specifically mentioning respiratory or non-tobacco smoke-related health goals. And 8 address problems caused by indoor air pollution. Food insecurity is a concern for 28 of the 31 countries, so almost all. While 100% have goals around women's empowerment, such as closing pay gaps and increasing representation, 27, so the vast majority, are also concerned about the most fundamental issues, including violence against women and the domestic burden, cooking, cleaning, childcare, which is so imbalanced that it can hinder women's participation in the workforce and education. Finally, 17 of the VNRs discuss the need for off-grid energy or highlight their country's potential for solar. So understanding where countries' priorities lie at the national level helps us meet them where they are and forge a path forward. So VNRs help us understand the country level, but that's not the whole picture. There is so much solar cooking happening at so many levels. Small businesses, nonprofits, community organizations, and individuals all around the world are using solar cookers. So in addition to reviewing high-level policy, SCI endeavors to map out the global landscape using an inclusive crowdsourced approach. We maintain this map that you see here, which depicts the distribution of solar cookers around the world. And we have so far identified over 4 million cookers across the globe. Some of these data points come from locations that we are intimately familiar with because we have projects or partners in the area, but many come from information that you share with us. So my plea to you today is that if you are currently working with a project that builds or distributes cookers, please visit our website, complete a very short data collection survey, and add your information to our map of solar cookers. And you'll see the website address right there, or you can just visit and search for the map. And of course, the number of cookers translates into the number of families affected, the number of meals cooked, the amount of money saved through avoided fuel costs. So we've taken this understanding and expanded it and brought it back to the country level through a tool we call impact summaries. So SCI combines our own research with data from the World Health Organization, World Bank, among others, to generate some important numbers which speak to a country's potential. Now, we focus on the portion of a country's population currently relying on solid fuels for cooking, and we imagine what would happen if they switched to solar cooking just a quarter of the time. So we use this quarter of the time number to be conservative and account for those times when solar cooking isn't possible at night or during cloudy weather. The idea also being that solar cooking can be integrated into a current cooking system rather than replacing it, and we are still likely to see huge savings in avoided fuel and health expenditures. So here we're looking at Zimbabwe, which is one of the countries presenting their VNRs at this year's forum. And of course, these are estimates, and we are always working, like the sector at large, to update our data with the best information we have available. So with that a baseline understanding of the landscape, I will hand things over to my colleague Keith Wingard to talk a little bit more about our advocacy.
Hello, everyone, and thanks, Sarah, for going through the voluntary national reviews and the work that we do at SCI to track that process. As Sarah mentioned, my name is Keith Wingard. I'm the Strategic Partnerships Manager with Solar Cookers International, and I'm going to talk a little bit about SCI's advocacy work as part of what we do to try to bring the message to whether it's international forums or conferences or hosting events like this, and in our communications to our networks to talk about the impact that solar cooking can have for families and communities around the world that are able to take advantage of renewable solar energy to cook a portion of their meals. So if we could jump ahead to the next slide, I'll go through just a few slides here. As we've mentioned a little bit already, solar cooking is beneficial, particularly because it supports all 17 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. These are the goals that many of you may be aware of that were agreed to in 2015 with the intention of achieving these objectives or priorities by 2030. So we're now past the halfway point for tracking and attempting to achieve these targets. Many of the goals include, for example, Goal 1 and Goal 2, no poverty and zero hunger. Sarah has already mentioned the financial savings that can be realized when using solar cooking devices. And zero hunger, by using solar cooking devices, you can reduce your household fuel budget, which means you have more of your household income available, or resources available to purchase food. So those are just two small examples. Some of the other SDG goals that we look at in particular are goal number 5, which focuses on gender equality. Cooking food and collecting wood and fuel to burn in order to cook food is often disproportionately the responsibility of women and children around the world, women and girls in particular around the world, which means any reduction in that time spent collecting fuel can help increase gender outcomes for women and girls. We also look at SDG 7 often, which focuses on access to energy. This includes things like electricity, along with energy required for cooking or lighting or household activities. So clean cooking is very much directly related to SDG goal number 7. And then SDG 13 as well is also under review this year, and that focuses on climate action. So the increase in use of solar cookers reduces the household emissions from cooking related to burning fuels. So that's another goal in particular that we look at. But again, the great thing about solar cooking is you're not just addressing one of these topics. You're able to positively impact all 17 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So let's go ahead to the next slide. I wanted to just talk a little bit about how SCI puts its advocacy work into action. There are a number of events throughout the year. For example, in March, a few months ago, we hosted a similar virtual event that was during the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. As we've mentioned, the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development, or HLPF, is ongoing in New York. And so in addition to the in-person meetings in New York that are happening this week and into next week, there are also virtual side events and in-person side events. SCI hosts virtual side events that enable us to share this exciting message about solar cooking's impact with all of you from around the world that are joining us today. And we also are able to bring in guest speakers as well from diverse backgrounds and with unique experience that we're able to share with our supporters, which we're really excited to be able to feature today. And then another major event on our annual advocacy calendar is the UNFCCC Climate Change Conference of Parties, or what's referred to as the COP process, or the COP COPs on an annual cycle. So we've attended the last several COPs, which typically happen in November or December. This year will be COP 29 and will be hosted in Baku in Azerbaijan. So that's another example of an opportunity for SCI to connect in person with other government representatives, civil society organizations, researchers that are also working on climate change issues, and where we can really highlight solar cooking, bring the message out to those that are maybe working on similar or aligned projects, and make sure that solar cooking is also being part of the suite of solutions that are available to address climate change around the world. And then aside from those three primary events, we also have a handful of regional or thematic conferences that we also attend. For example, the International Solar Energy Society hosts conferences that SCI typically is involved or attends. And the Clean Cooking Alliance will host clean cooking events as well that SCI has participated in the past. So those are just a few examples. We can jump ahead to the next slide, please. Real quick, just wanted to cover a little bit of an overview of where we're at in the process of reviewing the voluntary national reviews at HLPF, which is connected to the Sustainable Development Goals. HLPF is happening now, started a few days ago, and will be proceeding through next week. The in-depth reviews this year are SDGs 1, 2, 13, 16, and 17. So the HLPF cycles through those goals and provides a little bit more of a intentional focus on specific goals each year. As my colleague Sarah mentioned, VNRs are coming in from 36 countries, and that's an opportunity for countries to reflect and highlight what they've been doing or what they've been prioritizing, and what kind of impact they're seeing, and then where there are still gaps that exist in what still needs to be accomplished. And I will add that although there has been some important progress since 2015 when the SDGs were announced, there are still a number of goals that we are off track for, including SDG 7, which includes access to clean cooking. So it's a reminder that with something like the global pandemic, kind of created a little bit of a delay in some of the momentum. So it's really important to keep focused on accomplishing what we can to continue to address the SDG goals that have been agreed to by world governments and by the United Nations system. Another thing I wanted to highlight is 2024 is an important year because countries are expected to update their nationally determined contributions, or NDCs, by 2025. So this is connected to the Paris Agreement and countries' commitments to what they are doing to address climate emissions or greenhouse gas emissions in their own countries. So if you are familiar with that process or know anybody that is involved in that process, it's really important to advocate for including reference to clean cooking in those NDC policy documents. It's something that SCI is working on and coordinating with contacts that we have in various governments to make sure whenever possible there's reference to clean cooking, and even if possible solar cooking would be tremendous. We'd love to see that when that happens. So next slide, please. As I mentioned, we look at those nationally determined contributions on an annual cycle just to see if there's any new ones. I mentioned quite a few countries will be updating them in the coming year. So this is an important time for us to track where those mentions of access to clean cooking are being highlighted and which countries are making it a priority to include policies that address access to clean cooking. And as Sarah mentioned earlier, that could include reference to clean cooking directly, or it could include reference to improved air quality, or it could include reference to managing forest resources by reducing demand on forests for wood and charcoal for cooking purposes. Next slide, please. Great. So we have, as Caitlin mentioned at the beginning of our event, we have an exciting panel of guest speakers that we're featuring today. Before introducing and hearing from our distinguished guest speakers, however, I wanted to first mention that SCI, Solar Cookers International, has invited guest speakers from several countries with a range of backgrounds and experience levels with solar cooking. Their presentations represent their own beliefs and perspectives and do not necessarily reflect those of Solar Cookers International. However, SCI felt that they would each offer valuable insights into some of the opportunities and some of the challenges of addressing the critical need for improved access to clean cooking, and how solar cooking, in particular, as an integrated cooking approach, fits within the broader global effort to address this challenge. So our first two guest speakers are both from Togo, which is a French-speaking country in West Africa. To give our audience a little bit of a background on Togo, we've included a map here that shows where Togo is. It's a very narrow country that has a coastline in West Africa. The total population is just under 9 million people. And there's an estimated, according to the World Bank and World Health Organization, there's an estimated 12% of the population in Togo that has access to clean fuels and technologies for cooking. The inverse of that is that there are still around 88% of the population in Togo that rely on polluting fuels for cooking, which equates to 7,848,000 people. So it's still a significant issue in the country of Togo. So we wanted to just give a little bit of background context before we introduce our guest speakers. With the time difference, our guest speakers have all pre-recorded their messages, so they won't be joining us live. But our first guest speaker is, next slide, yeah, perfect. Our first guest speaker is Madame Yao Mary, and she is the Director of Environment with the Togo Ministry of Environment and Forest Resources. We are thrilled that she was able to take some time out of her busy schedule to pre-record this message for SCI's event today.
Bonjour, je suis Madame Yao Mary, la directrice de l'environnement. Je pense que la problématique de la cuisson propre est devenue un enjeu mondial pour la simple raison que dans la plupart des ménages, surtout dans les pays en développement, l'énergie de cuisson est basée sur les énergies traditionnelles et crée des dommages sur la santé des populations qui les utilisent. Et il a été relevé des cas de décès précoces, des pathologies liées à l'utilisation des énergies traditionnelles. Et c'est pour cette raison que de plus en plus, la communauté internationale et également au Togo, problématique de la cuisson propre est devenu un enjeu de taille pour améliorer les conditions de vie des ménages, protéger les ménages et recommander les technologies et les énergies propres en matière de cuisson. Et effectivement, son Excellence, M. Forrester Gnassingbé, président de la République togolaise, a pris part au sommet mondial sur la cuisson propre qui s'est tenu à Paris tout récemment et a prononcé un discours encourageant toute la communauté à aller ou améliorer, promouvoir l'accès à la cuisson propre en relevant les cas de maladies liées à l'utilisation des énergies, disons, traditionnelles. Et par rapport au Togo, il faut noter que les efforts sont faits en la matière et le gouvernement encourage vraiment et fait la promotion de l'accès à la cuisson propre. D'abord, dans son plan national d'action sur les énergies renouvelables, il a été programmé la distribution de 2 millions de foyers améliorés d'ici à 2030. Non seulement pas que les foyers améliorés sont des cuissons propres, mais les foyers améliorés permettent de réduire la consommation de charbon, de bois, du moins pour réduire les émissions. Et maintenant, pour aller à la cuisson propre elle-même, le gouvernement a également élaboré un document, le plan national de développement des bioénergies, qui met l'accent sur le développement des biogaz, donc pour permettre aux ménages d'utiliser du biogaz qui est propre et réduire les problèmes et les risques de santé de cette population. Et parallèlement, on encourage aussi l'accès au GPL et dans ce sens, le gouvernement a entre-temps pris des dispositions pour subventionner le coût donc, du GPL. Mais actuellement, il faut noter qu'il y a des difficultés parce que ce produit n'est pas, disons, le GPL n'est pas produit au Togo. Et donc, les prix sont sujets à la modification et au coût au niveau international, ce qui fait que ces coûts-là fluctuent et donc le problème de subvention est devenu un peu difficile parce que la facture devient de plus en plus élevée pour le gouvernement en termes de subvention. Mais le gouvernement fait de son mieux pour encourager les ménages et la population à aller au GPL. Et comme je disais, il y a le biogaz aussi qui se généralise. Ensuite, la promotion, l'encouragement à l'électricité, l'utilisation de l'électricité, surtout produite à base des énergies renouvelables telles que le solaire. Et la formation des acteurs. On sait qu'il y a les ONG et certains acteurs de la société civile qui interviennent dans ce domaine. Donc le gouvernement les assiste aussi, les encourage et puis donne la formation sur les bonnes technologies et surtout l'accès au financement. Parce que pour aller dans ce sens aussi, il faut les financements. Donc on forme les acteurs qui sont dans le secteur à la mobilisation des ressources pour améliorer leurs prestations et également la formation sur l'entrepreneuriat vert et tout ça pour améliorer les conditions d'accès aux énergies propres et à la cuisson propre. Donc c'est autant d'initiatives, sans oublier, comme je l'ai dit, la vulgarisation des foyers améliorés, histoire de réduire d'abord la pression sur les ressources naturelles en attendant d'aller à 100% d'énergie renouvelable et d'énergie propre. Au-delà de tout ce qui a été dit, il y a la promotion des fours et cuiseurs solaires. C'est vrai que certaines ONG ont déjà fait l'expérience avec les communautés. On a formé des ménages pour pouvoir promouvoir cette technologie. Mais il faut dire qu'il y a encore des réticences dans certaines communautés. D'autres l'ont accepté, certains l'ont accepté, mais d'autres sont encore réticents parce que je me rappelle, lors d'une formation sur cet aspect à Vaughan, certains membres d'une communauté qui disaient qu'ils ne vont pas manger, ils ne sont pas encore prêts à manger de la nourriture cuite au soleil. Donc, c'est des préjugés, des idées qu'il faut encore travailler. Et là, on accompagne aussi cette question avec les sensibilisations. Les sensibilisations doivent se poursuivre pour pouvoir convaincre les gens à changer de comportement vis-à-vis des technologies de cuisson. Parce que beaucoup ne sont pas encore pour eux, c'est comme c'est de la magie. Cuire de la nourriture dans un four solaire ou un cuiseur. Donc, ils ne sont pas encore, c'est un peu mythique, ils ne sont pas encore prêts à accepter. Donc, il faut encore travailler les mentalités pour que nous changions donc, de comportement vis-à-vis de ça et même d'habitude alimentaire. Parce que ce n'est pas tous les mets également qui se préparent avec les cuiseurs solaires. Donc, il y a toute cette question qu'il faut retravailler. Donc, on va intensifier ensemble avec les organisations de la société civile qui ouvrent dans le domaine, intensifier les sensibilisations pour pouvoir amener les gens à adhérer à cette politique et à changer de comportement. Bon, ma vision, je n'ai pas une vision personnelle parce que étant agent de l'administration, ma vision c'est celle du gouvernement parce que je mets en œuvre la politique du gouvernement en la matière de protection de l'environnement et donc on fait la promotion des énergies renouvelables et de la cuisson propre. Et aussi étant une femme, il a été relevé que beaucoup de femmes sont exposées donc, à l'utilisation des énergies traditionnelles pour la cuisson. Donc, c'est d'encourager vraiment toutes les voies et les approches qui facilitent l'accès à la cuisson propre à tous les ménages, à toute la population. Donc, nous sommes confiants qu'avec tout ce qui est déjà balisé en termes de politique énergétique et environnementale par le gouvernement, le travail, comme je l'ai dit, va se poursuivre sur la sensibilisation pour que toutes les communautés à la base et la population adhèrent à cette politique et nous aident ensemble à y parvenir. Bonjour.
Great. Thank you so much to Madame Yaoumeri for her presentation. It's great to get the perspective of a government representative here talking about the importance of policies that promote access to clean cooking in the population for her country. And that solar cooking, from her perspective, does play a role in addressing that challenge. As she said, there's been a number of methods of clean cooking that Togo is looking into or exploring. And so part of our role, with the help of our supporters, SCI looks to coordinate and advocate for solar cooking to have a place in that transition to clean cooking in countries like Togo. And I also wanted to highlight in her presentation, she referred to the Togolese president, Mr. Nasingbe, who attended the Summit on Clean Cooking in Africa, which was held in Paris in May. Our own Sarah Rosen also attended the conference as well. So that's another example of SCI's advocacy and connecting with other practitioners at high-level events like some of these events that we've mentioned earlier. I will add, we hope that the subtitles have been able to allow for everyone to understand what the presenters are saying. Unfortunately, we don't have the capacity for live translation at the moment. So we do have one more presentation from Togo. And similar to the last presentation, the audio will be in French, and there will be English subtitles for the next video as well. And then the third and fourth presenters will both be presenting in English. So just wanted to highlight that. Our next presenter is Raisa Oraya. Ms. Oraya works as the program manager with a non-governmental organization or NGO based in Togo called Jeune Vert, or Green Youth. SCI met with Raisa during COP28 in Dubai last year, which included her contributions as a guest speaker during one of SCI's COP28 press conferences. So we're very grateful that Raisa Oraya was also able to pre-record a message about clean cooking and how solar cooking plays a role from her perspective as a civil society organization. So we can go ahead and I'll turn my video off and we can play the next presentation as well.
Je m'appelle Raissa Ouéa, je suis responsable de programme à l'ONG Jeunes Verts. Je suis biologiste de formation. Jeunes Verts, c'est une organisation non gouvernementale qui est basée au Togo et qui intervient dans plusieurs domaines, notamment l'environnement, les changements climatiques et le sport. Alors, au Togo, il existe, disons, deux types de cuisson. Nous avons les méthodes de cuisson à feu, c'est-à-dire ouvert, c'est-à-dire ceux qui utilisent le bois, le charbon de bois. Ce sont des techniques qui sont plus utilisées en milieu rural. Également, l'autre type de cuisson, c'est la cuisson à gaz, qui utilise le butane, le gaz butane, qui est plus utilisé en milieu urbain, mais qui a un coût économique très élevé, ce qui fait que très peu de personnes ont les moyens de pouvoir s'offrir ce type de cuisson. Mais généralement, c'est utilisé en milieu urbain et vraiment classifié à une certaine catégorie de personnes au Togo. Alors au Togo, pour cuisiner ou pour faire le repas, souvent les ménages utilisent plusieurs combustibles. Je l'avais tantôt dit, le bois et le charbon de bois qui est plus couramment utilisé en milieu rural. Il y a également le gaz butane qui est également utilisé en milieu urbain pour faire le repas. Il y a également une nouvelle vague de combustibles tel que le biogaz qui fait apparition et qui permet également aux ménages de pouvoir cuisiner. Donc ce sont ces trois combustibles qui sont généralement utilisés pour le repas. Le biogaz qui est en dernière position parce qu'il n'est pas encore bien connu de la population togolaise. Alors en termes d'impact environnementaux, l'utilisation de ces combustibles, nous avons la déforestation. Nous savons très bien l'impact de la déforestation sur l'environnement. Ça a un impact en termes climatiques également avec les émissions de gaz à effet de serre. C'est-à-dire que les arbres sont quand même un puits de carbone qui existe, qui permet de stocker les gaz à effet de serre tels que le carbone. Et avec cette déforestation, il y a une augmentation ou une ouverture, si je peux dire ça, des gaz à effet de serre donc, qui se retrouvent dans la nature et dans l'air. L'autre également, c'est la pollution de l'air avec la combustion de ces bois qui sont faites au niveau en milieu rural pour faire le charbon, qui quand même impacte en termes environnementaux la qualité de l'air et impacte également en termes de santé les populations qui sont aux alentours. Donc l'utilisation du bois surtout a vraiment un impact sur l'environnement. La déforestation qui est très néfaste pour l'environnement, que ce soit pour les produits forestiers ou pour les produits forestiers non ligneux, les animaux, tout ça là, ça a un impact vraiment négatif et il va falloir qu'on trouve des solutions pour pouvoir réduire l'abattage des arbres, pour pouvoir faire la cuisson au Togo. Alors, ces méthodes de cuisson impactent la santé des communautés togolaises, comme je l'avais tantôt dit, avec la pollution de l'air qui entraîne des sérieux, qui occasionne ou qui multiplie les maladies respiratoires, telles que les bronchites, qu'on ressent souvent auprès des femmes, surtout les femmes poissonnières qui fument le poisson. Donc, cette pollution de l'air impacte vraiment leur santé en termes de maladies respiratoires. On avait eu à faire même une vidéo qui a montré ces femmes-là qui avaient des poumons qui sont comparables à une personne qui fume du tabac alors qu'elles n'ont jamais fumé. Donc, c'est vraiment un cas de santé publique qu'on doit vraiment revoir et avoir un sérieux coup d'œil là-dessus pour pouvoir permettre à ces femmes-là de nourrir leur famille tout en étant en bonne santé. Donc il est important aujourd'hui de trouver des solutions idoines
pour pouvoir permettre à ces femmes non seulement de pouvoir améliorer ou avoir mené leur activité génératrice de revenus, prendre soin de la famille et ne pas mettre leur vie en dépend tout en voulant satisfaire leur famille ou contribuer à l'épanouissement de leur famille et de leurs enfants. La question de cuisson propre est une question de genre parce que nous savons très bien en Afrique, dans le contexte africain, la plupart des personnes, c'est-à-dire ce sont les femmes et les enfants qui sont beaucoup plus exposés à la cuisson, surtout les jeunes filles, parce que ce sont elles, en termes de société, c'est elles qui sont désignées pour pouvoir faire la cuisine et tout. Donc, il est important, vraiment, en trouvant des solutions pour pouvoir les protéger, ça leur permettra de trouver des solutions pour vraiment limiter l'impact de ces combustibles fossiles-là sur leur santé et dans leur environnement. C'est purement une question liée aux gens parce que nos femmes, ce sont nous les femmes qui sont plus autorisées ou qui sont plus à même de faire la cuisine. Et c'est souvent toute la journée, matin, midi, soir, nous sommes au four pour pouvoir préparer à toute la famille et satisfaire leurs besoins en termes de nourriture. Alors la technologie solaire pourrait contribuer à lutter contre la pauvreté au Togo à travers plusieurs raisons, notamment si on développe les systèmes de cuisson solaire, ce sera une opportunité pour les jeunes ici de pouvoir s'adonner à ce genre de pratiques qui leur permettra de gagner de l'argent. Ça pourrait également permettre d'importer plusieurs technologies solaires et créer d'autres activités connexes autour de ces cuissons propres. Et également en termes économiques, ça permettra de réduire vraiment les dépenses liées à la cuisson. Parce que de nos jours, même le coût lié au gaz butane, le coût lié même à l'achat du bois de charbon de bois commence par être élevé. Et avec ce système de cuisson solaire, on n'aura pratiquement plus besoin de mettre beaucoup d'argent dans la cuisson des repas au Togo. Donc c'est vraiment un gain économique que cela pourrait apporter aux familles et une opportunité pour les jeunes en termes d'entrepreneuriat. Alors la cuisson solaire est très importante, comme je l'ai dit, en termes d'impact environnemental. Elle pourrait permettre de limiter l'impact, c'est-à-dire la déforestation, la pollution de l'air dans l'environnement où se trouvent les communautés. Ça a également un impact économique avec l'opportunité que ça offre aux jeunes. Et en dernière position, le coût lié à la cuisson qui sera très faible et qui va revenir à un coût très réduit par rapport aux familles. Donc c'est une opportunité qu'il faut saisir, une opportunité qu'il faut améliorer au Togo et vraiment déconstruire tous ces mythes-là qui se trouvent autour des cuissons solaires pour permettre aux populations, à nos communautés de s'approprier et pouvoir être épanouies et éviter toutes ces maladies liées à l'utilisation des combustibles fossiles dans le domaine de la cuisson. Alors, Jeunes Verts, c'est une organisation non gouvernementale qui existe déjà depuis 2009, mais nous avons été créés en 2013. Nous travaillons, comme je l'avais dit en début de cette vidéo, sur les changements climatiques, le développement durable, le sport et nous menons beaucoup d'activités de reboisement, de sensibilisation, de renforcement de capacités pour non seulement permettre à la communauté locale, avec les autorités locales, d'avoir l'information, d'être sensibilisés, de pouvoir eux-mêmes et avec notre appui, développer ou mener des actions durables dans leur communauté. Nous avons eu à mener plusieurs campagnes de sensibilisation, plusieurs études qui montrent des actions pertinentes qui pourraient être menées au Togo, que ce soit dans le domaine de la cuisson, que ce soit dans le domaine, tous les domaines environnementaux qui existent actuellement. Alors, ma vision ou celle de l'ONG Jeunes Verts par rapport aux cuissons pro, c'est vraiment que ce soit une méthode de cuisson qui soit vulgarisée au Togo sur toute l'étendue. Ce ne soit pas juste une question de milieu urbain, milieu rural. Donc que ce soit tout le monde, que ça puisse être à la portée de tout un chacun et que tout le monde puisse s'approprier de ces méthodes afin de pouvoir limiter leur impact sur l'environnement, sur la santé et sur même l'économie. Donc moi, c'est vraiment ma vision, c'est vraiment vulgariser, permettre à tout un chacun d'avoir un accès facile à ce genre de méthode et cela à travers la sensibilisation accrue qui se fera par les organisations de la société civile en collaboration avec les autorités. Merci.
Thank you again to Raisa Oraya for an excellent presentation and overview from the perspective of a civil society organization in Togo. I wanted to highlight, she mentioned the environmental impact, both in terms of deforestation and in terms of air pollution, are both critical when talking about the potential impact that solar cooking can have. But she also mentioned gender, how many women in Togo, it's a full day activity, going to collect fuel to use for cooking in the morning and then cooking throughout the day. And then into the evening hours as well. So any way that a portion of one's meals can be cooked with a solar cooker can reduce that burden. And she also talked about the opportunity for youth to contribute to awareness campaigns or even potentially help with the manufacturing, production, distribution of solar cookers that are locally produced. That's something that SCI prioritizes and highlights, and we try to work with organizations that are able to achieve that local production or work with communities to do that awareness campaigning. So in these previous two presentations, both from Togo, we had both a government representative and a representative from a local non-governmental organization. For SCI, advocacy includes both of these. These are both critical components to a coherent and successful advocacy strategy. Coordinating with government representatives ensures policy alignment with those national policies that we've been referring to. It enables us to have the capacity to address issues at scale. If we have a local government that is supportive of solar cooking, then that means that's a government that we can work with on finding solutions or ways to increase access to solar cooking devices or products. And it allows for a coordinated approach as well. So SCI is a nonprofit organization based in the United States, and we have a great network of supporters around the world. And by working directly with governments, we're able to make that impact more coordinated and intentional. But we also need to partner with local organizations as well. Local organizations that already have experience in a particular country, region, or even community. That helps to build trust in a particular project or program. And it leverages their experience that they already have from working in those communities. So for the example of Jeunes Verts, they've worked with communities in Togo already and have that trust, that buy-in, that relationship that exists. One of the things that both previous speakers mentioned is a reluctance or hesitance to use solar cooking because it's a new technology or an unfamiliar technology. So part of our advocacy role is to introduce and familiarize the population that we're focusing on to what a solar cooker is, how it works, and how it can be beneficial. We're not looking to just provide solar cookers to and then leave. We're looking to have a comprehensive program that allows for solar cooking to be embraced and to be used at scale. And that's really setting us up for long-term success in order to have a local organization that is able to work directly with those communities that are looking to begin making that transition to using solar cooking as a complement to their other cooking methods. So next slide, please. I also wanted to quickly show this diagram that we've been using at SCI to help us kind of organize how we look at advocacy work. So as we mentioned, whether it's communities in Togo or Liberia or India or many other places around the world, many are still unfamiliar with solar cooking. So that's down at the bottom. Those, whether it's communities, other civil society organizations, government representatives, perhaps, there are many around the world that are unfamiliar with solar cooking. So that would be in that unaware box. Part of our initial goal is to introduce solar cooking and to get communities or other organizations receptive or interested. And then as we talk more about solar cooking and the impact, we're hoping to move the folks that we're talking to up this pyramid, if you will, to become supportive and then even advocating for solar cooking within their countries or communities. And this involves coordinating, having meetings, holding events like this, and sharing these recordings of the events with those that might have a little bit of interest, and then strengthening or consolidating that interest to work towards a fully realized new opportunity or project that can have funded and has local partners that we're able to work with, and has data-driven impact evaluation and a pathway for increasing or scaling solar cooking in that particular context. Next slide, please. And I mean, I didn't want to fail to include some photos, because what we're talking about is really cooking food that allows us to eat delicious meals that are healthy and nutritional and nourishing for families. So this is just a small sampling of some of the photos we've received from our ongoing project at the Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya. So from left to right, we have examples of stew, ades, cowpeas, greens, rice, githeri, which is maize and beans. So these are all meals that have been cooked in Kenya using a solar cooker, a box oven solar cooker. So this is what it ends up being all about, is these delicious meals that families are able to enjoy. So the next slide, please. The next guest speaker that we have it comes from the country of Liberia. Similar to Togo, it's a country in West Africa. However, Liberia is an English-speaking, predominantly English-speaking country with just over 5 million people. The estimated World Bank, WHO numbers suggest that approximately 0.8% of the population of Liberia have access to clean fuels and technologies for cooking. So even more so than Togo, this is a critical issue in Liberia. The inverse of that 0.8% is that over 99% of the population in Liberia rely on polluting fuels and technology for cooking, which equates to over 5 million people in Liberia alone. So our next guest speaker is Shadiki V. Kamara. He's the executive director of Eco Climate Initiative, a non-governmental organization based in Liberia. Mr. Kamara also met with SCI during COP28 when he visited SCI's exhibit booth. We are thrilled to share Shadiki's pre-recorded presentation and his vision of how solar cooking can help improve access to clean cooking in his country, where an estimated 99% of the population relies on polluting fuels and technologies for cooking. Before we start the presentation, I wanted to remind viewers Shadiki will be speaking in English, but does have a slight accent. So if it helps in any way to turn on closed captions, please feel free to do that now if it might help with better understanding Shadiki's presentation. And with that, I will turn my video off and ask to go to the next slide so that his presentation can begin.
Hello everyone, my name is Shadiki V. Kamara. I'm based in Monrovia, Liberia, where I have been actively involved in climate advocacy, environmental protection for many years. My organization, Eco Climate Initiative, focuses on empowering community by raising awareness on climate change and promoting sustainable practices. We work on various projects aimed at reducing environmental impacts and improving the livelihood of our people. Our mission is to educate, advocate, and research ways to mitigate climate change and promote sustainability. In Liberia, the primary source of energy for cooking is biomass, which include firewood and charcoal. This practice is deeply rooted in our culture and its prevalence among both rural and urban communities. The reliance on biomass is due to the availability and affordability compared to other energy sources. Liberia is blessed with 43% of the Upper Guinea forest and significant wetland that hosts crucial mangrove ecosystem. However, our traditional cooking practices contribute to severe deforestation as trees are cut down for firewood and charcoal production. This deforestation not only threatens our biodiversity, but also exacerbates climate change by reducing our natural carbon sink. Additionally, the process of turning firewood into charcoal releases significant amount of carbon dioxide and other pollutants into the atmosphere. When these fuels are burned for cooking, they release smoke and particle matters, leading to air pollution that affects both the environment and human health. The smoke and emission from burning biomass fuel is in enclosed spaces exposes families, particularly women and children, to harmful pollutants. Prolonged exposure to these pollutants lead to respiratory illness, eye problems, and other health issues. Women who are primarily responsible for cooking and their children who are often present during cooking are the most affected. Indoor air pollution from traditional cooking methods is a significant public health concern in Liberia, contributing to chronic respiratory conditions and other diseases. Access to clean cooking is a general issue because in our society, women are particularly responsible for preparing meals. They spend long hours cooking over fire or traditional stove, exposing themselves and their children to harmful smoke. The lack of clean cooking options disproportionately affect women, limiting their opportunities for education and economic activities. Traditionally, women and girls often bear the burden of collecting firewood, which can be time-consuming or sometimes dangerous. Providing access to clean cooking technology can improve the health and well-being of women and their family and free up time for other productive activities. Solar cooking technology offers a sustainable, innovative solution to the challenges faced by many Liberian families. By harnessing the power of the sun, solar cookers provide a clean, healthy, and cost-effective alternatives to traditional biomass fuel. Solar cooking can significantly reduce household expenses on fuel, allowing families to allocate their limited resources to other essential needs. It also mitigates health risks associated with indoor air pollution, leading to a better health outcome and reduce medical costs. Furthermore, solar cooking helps preserve our forests and wetlands by reducing the demand for firewood and charcoal, contributing to environmental conservation and climate resilience. This addresses the theme of this year's high-level political forum, which theme is reinforcing 2030 agenda, eradicating poverty in time of multiple crises, the effective delivery of sustainable, resilient, and innovative solutions. I first learned about solar cooker at COP28 in Dubai, when King Hyde exhibited. I was amazed by the innovative technology that uses only sunlight to cook food. Seeing the potential of solar cooking to address both environmental and health issues, I was inspired to bring this technology back to Liberia and advocate for the adoption in our communities. The simplicity, effectiveness of solar cooking make it a promising solution for our country. I believe solar cooking is crucial for families and communities in Liberia for several reasons. Firstly, it is a clean and sustainable cooking method that does not produce harmful emissions, improving indoor air quality and reducing health risks. Secondly, solar cooking is cost-effective. It eliminates the need to purchase firewood or charcoal, saving family money. Thirdly, it helps protect our environment by reducing deforestation and greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, solar cooking can be used for various applications, including drying fish, which is common practice in our coastal communities. This provides a safe and healthy alternative for food preservation. EcoCountry Initiative mission is to empower communities through advocacy, education, and research. We aim to provide sustainable alternatives to practices that exacerbate climate change. Our recent activities include promoting clean cooking solutions, raising awareness about the benefit of solar cooking, and conducting workshops and training sections to educate community about sustainable practices. We believe that by empowering people with knowledge and tools, we can drive positive change and build a more sustainable future for Liberia. I believe the future of cooking in Liberia is solar. With the increasing temperature over the past years, we have a great opportunity to leverage the power of the sun. My hope is to see widespread adoption of solar cooking, leading to healthy family, a more sustainable environment, and improved livelihood. I envision a future where every household has access to clean cooking technology, reducing our dependence on biomass and the preservation of our natural resources. By embracing solar cooking, we can create a brighter and more sustainable future for Liberia. Thank you so much for joining me.
And thank you to Shadike Kamara for his presentation. I wanted to refer back to that advocacy pyramid that I mentioned earlier. This is an example of someone who was relatively unfamiliar with solar cooking as recently as 8 months ago. But after meeting with SCI at our exhibit booth at COP28 in Dubai, he was inspired by the technology that he saw that we had on display, where we were cooking some vegetables in a basic cook-it reflective panel cooker. And since in that time 8 months ago, solar cooking aligns with the work that his organization is already doing in Liberia, and Shadiki has been championing solar cooking as an effective solution in Liberia. So that's great to see, and we look forward to working with Shadiki in the future to make that vision that he is so excellently elaborated on reality in a place like Liberia. So if we go to the next slide, finally, our last guest, our last guest presenter from outside of Solar Cookers International. We do have one more SCI staff member that will be presenting after this, but our last non-SCI presenter, it is my pleasure to introduce Jivan Kumar Jatani, the Senior Director and Scientist F with the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy in India. As some of you may know, India has an extensive history with solar cooking technologies, and we are grateful to share Mr. Jatani's pre-recorded message with you today. As a representative of the Government of India, Mr. Jatani's presentation includes reference to designs that SCI is also just learning more about. So we also look forward to learning more with you as well from Mr. Jatani's presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jivan Kumar Jatani. I am Senior Director in Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. First of all, I would like to thank the Solar Cooker International for giving me the opportunity to share solar cooking initiatives in India and the future prospects. For household cooking in India, around 38% households are using traditional fuel for cooking. These includes firewood, kerosene, biomass, wood dust, etc. And as we all know that these fuels leads to poor air quality, increased respiratory infections, and causing premature deaths. Around 62% households are using clean fuel for cooking, including LPG, PNG, electricity, and biogas. This is all because of PM Ujjwala Yojana. The higher clean fuel is being used for cooking. This scheme was launched in 2016 to provide LPG connections. Under this scheme, so far, 103 million households are given LPG connections. Cash assistance of Indian rupees 2200 is given for a connection of 14.2 kilogram cylinder and 1300 for 5 kilogram cylinder. In this scheme, first LPG refill and stove, that is a hot plate, both provided free of cost. The major challenges that has been observed, particularly in the rural and remote areas, is the affordability of refill and difficulty in getting a refill. The India imports around 64% of LPG requirements. That is another challenge when we are promoting the LPG connections. So the India took an initiative to develop solar cook stoves. Of course, the solar thermal based cooking systems were deployed at multiple locations long ago, and these are all working fine. The largest company in the oil and natural gas sector, that ONGC, organized a solar cook stove design and innovation contest in 2018, where the Indian Institute of Technology Bombay won the first prize for development of solar PV based induction cook stove. 86 such systems were deployed at Bancha village in Madhya Pradesh, and another 100 systems were deployed at Choldari Tsunami Shelter village of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The another big company in this sector, Indian Oil Corporation, also developed solar PV based induction cooktop with thermal battery storage, and they name it Surya Nutan. The ministry is also working on a strategy to scale up solar PV based cooking solution. This is the flow diagram of the model that has been developed by the IIT Bombay, wherein the solar PV panels generating DC is fed to the controller, and controller based on the availability of solar power or the usage of induction cook stove, the power is either fed to the cook stove or to the battery for charging. And since it is a DC supply, it is converted in high frequency AC for induction cook stove through resonant converters, and the DC supply can also be used for resistance based cooking. Option was also provided for hybridization, wherein the supply can also be given either from solar panels or from the grid. These are some pictures on the deployment of solar PV induction cook stove developed by IIT Bombay in Bancha village. Since the roof of the households were not strong enough, so these panels were installed on ground using a mounting structure. The power is fed to the controller and battery, and then finally it is running a induction cook stove. Utensils were also provided, because in induction cook stove you need special kind of utensils with flat bottom. The IOCL developed Saurya Nutan, that is using thermal battery. In this, the solar power is fed to thermal battery. It has a resistive heating system, and this store heating in the thermal battery, and that thermal battery in turn heats the hot plate. Hot plate is covered in a box having a high quality insulation, and it has an electronic controller wherein you can control the temperature of the hot plate. Different variants have also been developed, and this product is a patent product. The IOCL developed this product after rigorous R&D. They have deployed this product to different regions to get feedback, and based on the feedback they modified the model, and finally they have come out with 3 different variants, wherein a single burner cooktop is there, single burner hybrid cooktop, wherein the supply can also be fed to from the grid, and on the demand they have also developed double burner hybrid cooktop. If we just compare the cost of clean, gray and green, so if we consider the clean, it is LPG. It has an initial investment which is not very high, but it has a recurring cost. And since LPG is important, the rates are dynamic and these are increasing very rapidly as we have seen in the recent past. If the induction cooker is supplied by the electricity from the grid, in this case also the initial investment is not much high if consider the cost of the induction cooktop and the utensils. But again, the recurring cost is high and it depends upon the tariff at which the power is being supplied. Also, in rural and remote area where the grid supply is not as much reliable and the quality of supply is also not to the mark, there using the induction stove using the electricity grid is a challenge. The IIT Bombay developed solar cooker with PV electrical battery and the induction cooktop has a very high initial cost, which is around 75,000 of Indian rupees. And again, the batteries have to be replaced after a certain period, maybe after 5 years or so. So the battery replacement cost is also there. In case of IOCL developed Saur Nutan, the initial investment is not as much high as that of the IIT Bombay, but here the recurring cost is not much because it is using the thermal battery, not the conventional chemical batteries, and it is easy to use, it is safe, and it has a minimal maintenance. Coming to the future prospects in solar cooking, the Government of India is already promoting the solar thermal based community cooking system, and we plan to promote the IOCL developed Saur Nutan mainly in off-grid areas because the electricity supply in off-grid areas is not as much reliable as in the urban areas, or the supply hours and quality is not as good as in the urban areas. Also, in the off-grid areas, the people are using traditional fuel for cooking. We also plan to promote e-cooking with grid-connected rooftop solar under PM Surya Ghar scheme. And as you know that this scheme is for providing solar rooftop on 10 million households with a financial outlay of around 750 billion rupees. The scheme aims to provide 300 units free electricity from 3 kilowatt rooftop solar, for which Government of India is providing 60% subsidy for the first 2 kilowatt and around 40% subsidy for next kilowatt. States are also providing additional subsidy for promoting rooftop solar in their state. The total central government subsidy in this under this scheme for a 3 kilowatt rooftop solar system is INR 78,000. The scheme has a provision of awareness, capacity building, creating model solar villages, incentivizing local bodies. So under this scheme, when the people are getting subsidy, they are also getting concessional financing for the part of their share. It is estimated that with subsidy available, the concessional financing available, and the saving from the electricity bill, the initial investment made by the beneficiary can be recovered in 2 to 3 years, and thereafter the electricity generated from the solar rooftop will be absolutely free, and that's why this scheme is called the Muft Bijli Yojana. It means providing free electricity up to 300 units. Use of this free electricity can be for e-cooking using the induction cook stove, and Government of India is thinking of launching a campaign for e-cooking for those using solar rooftop under the scheme. One major challenge is also observed in the rural areas for strengthening of the distribution system, as if more and more load is deployed or people are start using the induction cook stove, which is generally 1.5 kilowatt capacity, then you need to strengthen that distribution system. And Government of India is providing grant under the RDSS scheme for strengthening of the distribution system. So these are the prospects or the initiatives being taken by the Government of India in promoting solar cooking. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Hello, everyone. Before I introduce myself, I would like to thank Mr. Jeevan Jethani for his presentation. It was great to learn about emerging solar technologies in India. I am Vedika Jayandani, the Communication Specialist at SCI, and I will take you through our various communications platforms for information sharing and show you different ways to stay engaged with SCI. Next slide, please. Our website, solarcookers.org, is an excellent resource where you can not only learn more about SCI, but also about the significant role of solar cooking in the advancement of all 17 SDGs. There are a few key web pages that we highly recommend visiting. The first is our media coverage webpage. Here you will find several articles related to solar cooking, news about SCI, DIY tutorials, and the impact of solar cooking on communities in different parts of the world. Next is our Kakuma refugee camp webpage. Can you go back to the previous slide? Thanks. Where you can follow the journey of one of our program participants as they transition from using harmful fuels such as charcoal or wood for daily cooking to using zero-emission solar cookers that improve air quality and protect the local ecology from deforestation. Next slide, please. Thank you. Our newsletter's webpage features stories from local collaborators and communities who have benefited from adopting solar cooking. For example, the current summer newsletter features a very inspiring story of a community in Uganda who is fighting deforestation with the power of the sun. And I'll let you discover how they're able to do that. No spoilers here. These newsletters are a great way to stay informed about the latest developments in the world of clean cooking and success stories from around the world. And finally, our blog's webpage provides regular information about our campaigns, global events on clean cooking, even solar cooking recipes, our press conferences, as well as our UN webinar events such as this one. This webpage is a treasure trove of interesting stories, and I encourage you to explore it. Next slide, please. We're also very active on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I've added the links to all our social media here, but if you just search for Solar Cookers International on any of these, you'll find us easily. We post updates from SCI every week, so if you would like to stay engaged with us, our social media is a great place to start. You can follow us, subscribe, like, and share our posts. We love it when our supporters leave comments or messages on social media. And please remember to tag us in your solar cooking posts using the hashtag Solar Cookers International. We would really appreciate it. Next slide, please. Next, I would like to share a few videos that will be really worth your time. The first is a short film on Kakuma refugee camp, which showcases the daily struggles of residents to find cooking fuel and the life-changing impact of solar cookers on people, particularly women and children. The film also features interviews from our program participants, and I highly recommend checking it out. Another important video is our webinar from the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, a parallel event that was held in March this year. This event featured guest speakers from Kenya, South Sudan, and the Central African Republic, who all share their experiences and perspectives on how solar cooking can truly uplift the lives of women and girls. Finally, the All About Access video highlights the widespread lack of sustainable cooking fuels and demonstrates what it takes to bring clean cooking solutions to people in need. This video underscores the importance of our mission at SCI and the steps we are taking to address this critical issue. I've also added a link and a QR code where you can sign up to receive regular updates from SCI, and this way you can continue to stay informed about our events, stories from our collaborators and communities, learn about SCI's participation in other global events, and a lot more. Next slide, please. Last but not the least, I would like to introduce our Solar Cooking Wiki, available at solarcooking.org. This website is managed by our SCI staff, and it is an incredible resource for anyone interested in solar cooking. It is available in over 35 languages and provides detailed information on everything from types of solar cookers, solar cooking techniques, to news from around the world on solar cooking initiatives. It also provides information on manufacturers and vendors of solar cookers in different regions. The wiki is really a comprehensive resource for anyone interested in solar cooking, whether you're a beginner or an expert. And with that, I urge you to explore more on our website, connect with us on social media, check out the wiki, and sign up to receive regular updates. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hand it over to you, Caitlin.
Thank you so much, Vidika, and thank you so much to all of our guest speakers from within SCI and beyond. We're so thankful for each of you sharing your voice and your perspective with the global community in sharing how important solar cooking is for you and your community. So we really appreciate it. We've been getting lots of questions through the Q&A and through the chat, which we've been addressing through the presentation. So thank you, everybody, for being engaged in this way. Also, we did have a request to share some information about the photos that have been accompanying the slides to continue to make this information accessible. So I'd just like to take a minute to share that we've been sharing photos of people within various communities throughout the world utilizing different types of solar cookers, everything from box cookers to parabolics, from Nepal to Kenya, and everywhere in between. So one of the questions we've been getting is how to engage with SCI. So if you go to the next slide, there are so many ways, many of which we've been highlighting, including accessing SCI's resources. Numerous speakers highlighted many of these, such as the SCI Wiki, our map of solar cookers, our impact sheets, and so many others. So we do, as part of our role as a nonprofit, provide a lot of this information for free to make it accessible to you to be able to use in your own efforts and to share with other stakeholders who you think might find it valuable as well. So please do access those and share those as well. Please do connect with our collaborators. As we've mentioned, the Solar Cooking Wiki includes information with people around the world, because this is really a global movement. So see if there's somebody in your community or somebody you want to connect with to learn more about their expertise, so we can all continue to work together on this important movement. We do also have the Solar Cookers International Association, so that's a way to connect with high impact stakeholders as well. There's a way to join that through multiple pathways, either as an organization or individual, through a fee or through a scholarship. So please go to our website and look at that as well. As Vidika mentioned, please do sign up for more information. That way you'll continue to hear about opportunities through SCI, as well as more information, and also receive a recording of this. So that was one of the options when you registered for the event, to sign up for more information. Or if you're hearing about this later, please go to our website and do sign up and mark SCI as a safe sender so that you can stay the most up to date. I'd like to give a very genuine and heartfelt thank you to our numerous SCI supporters. We could not do this important work, and we could not be here today sharing this information with you, as well as raising the voices of our important stakeholders throughout the world, without you. So we are a nonprofit. We do rely on people's support to continue addressing this incredibly important issue. So thank you to those who have donated. Thank you to those who will donate. Again, we could not do this without you, so thank you. I do also want to say a very genuine thank you to our volunteers, including our board of directors and our global advisors, many of which who are on the call today, and we're very thankful for them sharing their knowledge and their time and their expertise with SCI and with those throughout the world. So thank you for your leadership and your voluntary service, as well as your financial support. Other things that you can do as well, please do include solar cooking in your work and your country's policies. So many of us play an important role and we can all work together and solar cook as well. Many of us do solar cook frequently, and it's a great way to practice what we encourage others to do, and it's a lot of fun. So definitely encourage everybody to do that. It's something we can all do. And also we do encourage Solar Cookers International Performance Evaluation Process, or PEP testing of solar cookers, as this can be one more information piece to help others in their journey of knowledge in solar cooking. Next slide, please. Solar Cookers International also does offer consultancy services. So for that more tailored individual support, we can offer things such as project design, help with monitoring and evaluation through various surveys. Although we do have the templates for those available online as well, but really helping individuals or communities or groups figuring out how to make solar cooking the most successful in terms of what they are trying to accomplish for themselves and their communities. And so there's more information on our website for that as well. And next slide, please. So that is the end of our time with you today. And again, thank you so much for spending your time with us and for your interest and dedication and passion for solar cooking. Again, this is such a global issue that impacts all of us. We all need to work together to implement solar cooking. It's a beautiful solution, so let's all make it happen. And thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, wherever you are. Take care.